What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 2 of Cracker Barrel Has Fallen, where we go from blank page to this. The prompt crown represents the first signs of the zombie outbreak. So here's my idea of how this all started. An indie upstart film crew comes to the town of Ainsley to shoot their first movie, a teen horror slasher flick. It's gonna be scary and very bloody. Here's the thing, fake blood is expensive and they're trying to make the most of their budget. So the director knows a guy who has a cousin that works at a slaughterhouse that can hook them up with some free blood. But what the cousin doesn't tell them is that this is the rejected, contaminated blood that no one wants. It's supposed to be destroyed. But he's not worried because the director promised it's just going to be used for set decoration. No human consumption. But as with most horror movies, accidents happen. While filming the prom queen acceptance speech, our newly crowned actress, let's call her Madison, doubles over in pain, drops the mic, not in a good way, and the transformation begins. Meet patient 0 of the Ainsley outbreak. So, how do you draw someone becoming a zombie? I wanted to try drawing Madison mid-transformation, that horrifying in-between state where she can feel her humanity slipping away. I started with references. Pinterest is my go-to. I search zombie sketches, zombie drawings, zombie illustrations, looking for examples of zombie features, cracked skin, bulging eyes, lots of decay. I love studying good sketches. I'm working to improve my own sketching skills because I tend to rely heavily on color and blending instead of the drawing itself. I want my work to read well without the color and the blendy stuff. So, here's my first attempt, Zombie Madison V1. I draw during my lunch breaks at work, about 15 minutes to eat, and that leaves me about 45 minutes to create. If you're a hobby illustrator like me, this is a good way to make progress each day. In this version, I tried cracking skin, one normal eye, one bulging eye. Big bulging eyes showed up in almost every reference. I personally prefer the mouth open. It feels more active, more primal. I'm also really digging the design of this crown. But here's what wasn't working. The face is too narrow. That's a proportion error I'm constantly fighting. Even with the decay, the features feel wonky. Also, the mouth could be wider. And on a technical level, my hatching lines aren't following the contours of the face. Also, the teeth are teething. Even in real life, the lines of our teeth are pretty subtle. That said, I knew I was getting somewhere. The tears in the skin, the crown design, those were definite keepers. Time for Zombie Madison V2. We're going for better facial proportions and trying a more dramatic angle. This random piece of cardboard came in a package and I felt compelled to keep it. I don't know why. I also switched to acrylic markers. Using these forces me to think in shapes and blocks of color rather than blending everything. They're also very portable. Here's me working on Madison at an art meetup.
I also noticed you're drawing more.
And then back home, which is actually when I decided to just go for it and start this YouTube channel. Film everything. Okay, well, maybe not everything. We tried a different angle for the face, better proportions this time. I really loved the dark, sunken, opaque eye. Still a fan of the crown, but instead of hair down, I wanted to try an updo, something more formal. I also tried adding vibrant color highlights to the hair, but I think I went overboard. Didn't quite hit the mark. Hair is something else I struggle with, but overall, I do like how V2 turned out. We've nailed down facial features. Now I needed the rest of her. Madison is sitting on the edge of the stage in turmoil, wearing this big, poofy prom dress. How do you draw someone hunched over in physical distress? Well, references, and you guessed it, references. I used Figurosity. It's a site with lots of posed 3D models that you can rotate. I'm not sponsored. I just think it's a cool tool. Their free plan fits my needs. Free plan. My first pose attempt didn't feel distressed enough. She was too upright. The second sketch had that crumpled over feeling I was looking for. Oh my gosh, the hands. Oh, the humanity. We had to work on that. I also found helpful prom dress references on Unsplash, another free resource. Now it's time for Madison's final form. I moved over to Procreate. When it came to color, I was a bit unsure. I didn't want everything to be blendy. So I found this image that I really liked how it was rendered. So I took a break from Madison and tried to replicate this and understand it. I discovered that I liked this chalk brush from Lucas Penador and the new Stanley brush from Procreate. They became the two main brushes that I use for Madison. Here it is, the final drawing. But wait, I thought I was done. But then I realized I have nothing that indicates a movie set. We get prom queen turned zombie, but nothing shows filming. So I added one final touch. What do you think? Not bad for the first panel of the series. Next episode, we leave the movie set and the Outbreak goes public. If you enjoyed watching this video or learned something new, please hit that like button. This is just one of many, so subscribe to Linework and Lore to get notified when the next illustration drops. Thanks for joining me, and remember, it's never too late to create, unless you're dead. Peace.